Now, the essence of the World Obesity Day is to create an awareness to the general public. That is the essence from the World Health Organization, so that the world will be aware that obesity is not just a thing that you feel comfortable with, because there are other effects that this comes with. At the same time, I should do well to also let you know that when you talk about obesity, obesity could open doors for other illnesses in the part of the body. These and more we will talk about today, as I will be your uncle, or Payemi Adebambo is the name as always. And in the studio here with me, I have the dietitian Ayo Ade Olushola. I'm seeing her for the first time this year. The last time I saw her, I think that was 2024. It's been a very long time. But it's good to see her again join us today in the studio. We will be having this conversation together, as well as another representative from General Hospital Ikorodu. She's a nutritionist in person of Akorede Ade Abidemi. Akonde Abidemi, pardon me, the writing is very luxurious, you know. There's a way medical practitioners, people like you write, you always want to confuse us. So I guess that was what you did there. But anyways, it is fine. Thank you both for joining us today on the issues where we will be talking about the World Obesity Day. 4th of March every year has been set aside. This year's Obesity Day happens to be this week, Tuesday. And that is why we're talking about it today, Thursday. I'll go on this very, very short breather. When I return from this break, I will turn the microphone for my guest in the studio today, where we'll delve straight into this conversation of the World Obesity Day and all you need to know. It's important you need to know these things, and that is why we're talking about it on IKD 106.1 FM. I'll be right back after this very, very short break. Welcome back, and many thanks for staying tuned today on the issues, where we will be talking about this day that has been set aside by the World Health Organization, called the World Obesity Day, a day set aside to create awareness to the general public. Now, do not also forget that the studio lines are very much active and always open for you to call us in and ask questions in line with our conversation. So if by chance you have questions to ask our guest in the studio today, you can do well to call us on the studio lines 0904 081 1061 or 0904 082 1061. Now, talking about the World Obesity Day, the focus for today will be sustainable eating habits. This will be our major focus, and that is why I told us earlier that we have nutritionists in the studio that would help us through this conversation. So at this time, it will be very appropriate for me to say good morning to you, Mrs. Ayo Ade. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
It's
Thank
good
you
to have
for
you in the
having
studio.
me back. Thank you.
And,
And how are you doing?
Very well, I'm doing just fine. I should also take out the time to say compliment of the season.
Same to you.
It's not too late.
It's not. It's never too late.
And I must say you're looking good as always. Thank
I
you.
try. Thank you. And you're looking dashing too.
Now
I
I'm
like
feeling
your
fly.
hairstyle.
And now I'm feeling fly.
Please don't fly away.
Thank you very much. You've heard the voice of our first guest in the studio today, Mrs. Ayo Ade. We also have a nutritionist in the studio in person of Miss Akonde. I almost wanted to say Mrs., but I'm thinking maybe after the whole conversation, there will be another conversation behind camera. So you have told me already that it is not a Mrs. So, Miss Akonde, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here in the studio. Talking about sustainable eating habits, which is very germane. Sometimes the way some people eat, you might want to get very scared and wonder why are you even eating like this? You don't have lineup of how to eat. You don't know what to eat, when to eat, how best to eat these things. And the essence for this conversation is because we are looking at the World Obesity Day. So let me start off with you, Mrs. Ayo Ade. When we talk about the World Obesity Day that the World Health Organization has set aside, for the understanding of the general public out there, can you help us illuminate that understanding? When we say the World Obesity Day, what is obesity itself, and what is the essence of Obesity Day every 4th of March?
Oh, thank you for that question. Obesity in itself means it's a chronic condition. It's not just something that is minor, or should I say minute, like many people will look at. It's a chronic condition that most times predispose an individual to other health conditions, or should I say other metabolic syndrome, like diabetes, hypertension, and the likes of them. So when one is obese, aside the fact that one can be predisposed to this condition, the quality of life also is not something, it's not going to be optimal. Do you get? Because the person, you would see somebody that is obese may not be able to walk 3 minutes stretch.
Without
After
getting
walking,
tired.
do you understand?
Mm.
Sometimes they might have sleep apnea. Sometimes they palpitate. They walk and they are breathing as if they have run like Usain Bolt. So obesity is a chronic condition that should, be managed majorly with diet and other things. The diet, the changes in lifestyle, and there are things that are also maybe the contributing factor to this when one is obese. So when one is able to actually know what the contributing factors are and you're able to work with that, then go with your diet, meet the right person, then you'll find the contributing factors, which may be genetic for some persons. It's not that we've seen people that the mother is big, the father is big, apparently the child will come out big, and it can also be a lifestyle thing. Do you know, these days people are beginning to go into that big lifestyle. If you don't eat, if you tell somebody I've never had pizza, you'll be like, are you serious? Pizza? That's just it. And we also have environmental factors. The environment plays its part in it. We also have the social. I gave an instance for someone that has a positive family history of obesity, and maybe for the child, the child might not even be big yet, and other children are bullying, and or the person goes into depression, can also bring about eating disorder that can actually, relate to obesity. So it's kind of a wide thing. That's why I said it's a chronic condition.
The best kind of food that we can eat that will help us not lose it, right? But before we get to that particular bridge, I want to come back to you, Mrs. Ayoade. When people talk about obesity, being obese, at what point can we say that you are obese? At what point can you look at someone and say, no, you are now battling with obesity?
Okay. There are actually measures to look into that would say this person is obese. We have what we call the BMI.
The BMI.
That is the body mass index. So the body mass index is an indication, is a determinant, that helps an individual to know their health status. So the BMI is ranged, to know if somebody is underweight, the person is within the normal weight, the person is overweight, or the person is obese. So the BMI serves as that. But because the BMI is not an absolute determinant, because it measures only the body weight, not the body fat. And if at all it does that, it does not accurately measure where the disposition of fat is. So it's not a total determinant. So we use other measures too. We have the skin fold caliper for the hand. We also have the what's it called? We use the waist to height. You check the waist, what your waist is. You measure your height, either in inches or in centimeters. So you divide your weight from your height. There's a value that this should be within. And we also have what we call the waist to hip ratio. So that one is majorly used also because if there is much fat disposition around the abdomen, the abdominal side, and that person is more likely to be predisposed to some health conditions. So when you use these measures, even though the BMI is the most used one,
the commonest used.
Exactly, the commonest used. So that's putting all of this into it. If I check the BMI, I check other things, I check the waist to hip and all of that. It gives me a broader evaluation and assessment of what I want to talk about. Because the BMI, like I mentioned, it's an individual that is a sports person or an athlete could have a high range of BMI. That does not mean that that person is obese. So for obesity, there are things, like I mentioned, that contributing factors earlier. There are also things that one will look into: the age, the sex, the lifestyle, the food choices, and if there is possibility of other health, underlying health condition.
I was going to ask you, sorry to interject you there.
Okay.
I was going to ask you that when you look at obesity, being obese, what role does the age play in this? Is this something that affects just the older generation, or even a child? A child could also suffer obesity.
Yes, a child could suffer obesity. I mentioned earlier that let's assume the child is there is a positive genetic factor that is contributing to that. A child is, for children, majorly reason why we advise mothers to always practice exclusive breastfeeding is so that if at all there is a positive family history of that, they can curtail it and ensure that they introduce, they incorporate a healthy eating lifestyle for that child, if there is a positive. But if the child is weaned off breast early enough and introduced to other foods, this may, or should I say might, contribute to that child being obese. And just like for adults that are obese, the risk factors that are aligned is the same for children. Children can be predisposed to type 2 diabetes, not even type 1. And the child can also have, palpitation. Those, for them, they might be bullied. That's the mental factor also plays. So it affects both the young and the. So it's not.
It's not one-sided.
It's not one-sided. I think I've seen, there was one time a video was going viral of one baby 10 kg, and there was another one for pap. To them, the parent felt, I'm doing it right. But I can bet you that whoever was selling whatever they were selling to them did them bad. They wouldn't know. Because it's just like the fats are building up. Everything is building up. And that child, I can bet, might, eventually develop some health complications in life. Not as an adult.
Okay, this one will take me down to another question of the dangers in line with, obesity. The reason is because there are some people you look at, we say obesity is excess fat.
Yeah.
Some people will look at it and they will tell you it's a sign of good living. Right? Some will just tell you, oh, so far I'm looking chubby, that means I'm good. How dangerous could it be when you say someone is obese? Are there any risk factors involved? Just like you're talking about, it could lead to diabetes and all of that. How dangerous could obesity be?
It's dangerous because the end, if not well managed, could lead to death.
It could get as bad to being
dead. It could
dead.
get as bad as that if it is not well managed. And their quality of life is poor. You see other people, I know, we see that because it's a health condition. So they will not be able to go about their daily life as they desire. We've seen times where we board a bus and maybe you have somebody that is big hunter, and the conductor will just make mess of them, or the driver will be like, no, it's for 3 people, are you paying for 3? And sometimes they might not even be able to afford for 3.
Stigmatization.
You understand? So stigmatization comes into play. And I can tell you, I have a strong body, I have a this, I have a that. By the time you get home, you recollect. And a part of you will feel bad about it. So it has a long-time effect if it is not, timely approached or given therapy to.
Thank you very much. Definitely, with the things that you have said, no doubt, of course, diet has a major role to play.
It does.
When you talk about obesity. And this will bring me down to Miss Akonde. Can you put us through, as a nutritionist that you are, what role does diet play? What is the importance of diet to obesity?
Okay, when we are talking about diet and obesity, we should know that for there to be, because obesity is excessive fat accumulation in the body. Yes. So we should know that in any way where the calorie input, meaning the food we are taking in, when it's more than the output, the kind of work we do, then there would be accumulation of this excess calorie in the body. So diet and obesity, it means when you are eating in excess, definitely your body would accumulate excess of these stored nutrients that it's not using up. So for obesity and diet, it's usually because either the person is excessively consuming, or 2, the person is not active enough. Physical activity.
The person is not active enough.
Yes.
So you could be eating right and you're still not active.
Yes. So it's diet and lifestyle, like my colleague mentioned. We approach obesity with diet therapy and other therapies. These other therapies could come in place when, okay, we've tried diets, let's try other things like exercise. Why not increase your physical activity? Yes. And she talked about childhood obesity, and I'd just like to mention that, because you said something. You said when you were younger, your mother, she made a timetable. I'll say you are privileged.
I think that is a general household thing.
No, no.
Okay.
I'll say you are kind of privileged, because in my own household, it wasn't that way. Only that my mom knew beans was good, and she made it compulsory every Saturday.
Oh, you just mentioned
and
my
I
favorite.
hated it.
You just got my
Yeah, she made it compulsory. So whether you like it or not, that was what you are going to eat. And that will bring me to parents that they overindulge their kids. This era of, okay, let the kid do, they have a say. Then we didn't have a say when it comes to what our mom brings to the table. So far it's healthy for you, you're eating it. Or no other thing will be supplied. So, and also these days we have a lot of junks. And I tell you, a lot of parents think they are doing the best. They will even tell you, I don't want to mention all these packaged fruit juice. It takes you to school every day. Oh, I'm feeding them well. No, you are not. I'm sorry, you are not feeding them well. In place of this packaged fruit juice, you can train them with fruits. It's sad to know that there are some young children that they don't even know how to take fruits, majorly because they've not been trained with it. And this has happened it has been passed down. Maybe the mother also has a poor eating habit. Yes. And let's talk about water also. There's no way we'll talk about food and not talk about water. It will surprise you to know that there are a lot of people that have unhealthy drinking habits also.
I would like for you to help us understand. When you say unhealthy drinking habit, is there a pattern to drinking water?
No, it is the quantity of water we drink on an average.
Talk to me.
Yes, because on average Nigeria, don't let me generalize, but most that I've seen, we prefer other forms of water. We think they are water. Forms of liquid rather. Water is water. There's no replacement to water. But they think there is a replacement for water. Why not juice? Why not drink? No, water is water. And on an average, when you can't take enough water your body needs, you are taking this extra juice that is already calorie packed.
Adding up to the problem.
Yes, you're adding. You're adding up to the problem. So the way parents could help. One, you don't indulge these children. You let them know how healthy it is for them. You can even, they lie to us then, it will give you superpowers when you eat this kind of food. You are the boss of them. Children are not the boss of you. Yes. And also for adults, most adult things, okay, now I'm on my own. I can decide for myself. And at the end, we end up making unhealthy decisions. Yes, lifestyle.
You've talked about diet being a major thing to focus on, and at the same time, a lifestyle, exercise, and all of these things also matters a lot. Now, let us talk about what to eat and what not to eat.
All right.
Right? And then the people out there listening to us at this time, you can call us to talk to us. We are focusing on sustainable eating habits today, and this is in line with the World Health Organization Day, which is the World Obesity Day. Every 4th of March in every year is set aside to create this public awareness. Now, Ms. Akonde, talk to us on what to eat, what not to eat. I'll use myself as an instance. I started with that, so I'll continue with that process too. Right? While we were growing up, our mommy would always say, this is what to eat now. But right now, I can eat anything.
Okay.
That is even if I have the chance to. When should we eat? What should we eat? What should we not eat? The only thing everybody would know easily is we are supposed to eat 3 square meals daily, and that is not even working as it should now. Sometimes it is 001, 010, some 000. What should it look like?
Okay, I like that you said, when should we eat?
When should we eat?
Yes, so let me start with the when.
Yes.
In relation to the time we eat and obesity, it has been proven that people who eat very late into the night, they are more predisposed to accumulating excess fat around their abdomen, something we call central obesity. So these persons, their arms, the father is okay, but you see this center, it is, it's not looking good.
Those that eat late night.
Yes. Now, because at night your body, the normal system of your body is shutting down. Now you are not giving your body a food to process at that time. So yes, your dinner should come at most 7.
7 p.m.
Your dinner.
When boys are still outside there.
However, there are other snacks you can take. However, there are other healthy things you can take. Bedtime snacks. But ideally, if you do not, because it is how you treat your body today, that's what you meet in 5 years to this time, 10 years to this time. Those who have bodies that are fit, they didn't get there by accident. It was an habit.
A conscious habit.
A conscious approach to it. Now, what should we eat?
Yes.
Let us improve on our intake of fruits and vegetables, and also seeds and nuts.
Seeds and nuts?
Yes, seeds and nuts. I know some of us might say, but fruits and vegetables are expensive, they are costly. But why not? Why can't we take advantage of these things when they are in season? Yes. I notice people that don't like vegetable will not take it even if it's in season. So we should incorporate this in our diet, because the average Nigerian diet is just, you know, it shouldn't be that way. Yes, because even the protein you're adding is part of the meal. Just try it one day. Let your vegetables to be more, and maybe you put 2 protein in it. I'm telling you, you won't be able to consume as much swallow as you would normally.
I want to get that clearly. Sorry, Ms. Akonde. You're saying that if the vegetable is more than the swallow.
No, that's not what I said.
Oh, okay.
I said you should try increasing your vegetable soup, for example. Now, let's say you want to eat. Take the normal swallow you would take.
Yes.
And increase the soup and also the protein in it. And you'll find out that you won't be able to finish that normal quantity.
That you usually take.
Yes, because those ones would fill you also. But that's not the case here. The case most time is that we are eating that one that is carbohydrates more. And the vegetables is little. So we can incorporate fruits, vegetables in our diet. Fruits, I think with 200-300 you buy fruits. Yes. So it's not expensive per se if we want to do it. Yes. And also you snack healthy. You snack healthy. Peanuts. When I say peanuts, I mean ekpa. Granuts, not the one that has been coated with flour. Peanuts.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Peanuts, cashew nuts, other nuts. There are other seeds also we can incorporate. Even boiled egg, they are snacks. Or the snack boli. When maize is in season too, agbado. You can snack on it.
Well, okay, let us look at some fallacies on meat now, right? Everybody used to hear you can only take 1 egg per day. Take more than 1 egg, one thing will happen, that thing. Can you help us first of all clear that? Is it a fallacy to say that you can only take 1 egg per day, or it is actually true in its context?
Okay, taking 1 egg per day. First, you know, whatever nutritional diagnosis or approach you have to do for an individual, it is individualized. So just probably a dietitian or nutritionist told someone, for you can take 1 egg per day. We don't know the age of this person. We don't even know what they are managed, what condition.
So you don't judge with that person's situation.
Yes. Aside that, you can take more than 1 egg per day. You can. Let's say you want to eat yam and fried egg. Are you telling me it's just 1 egg? For someone that can easily afford egg.
True.
Is it just 1 egg you want to fry with the yam? But I'm considering, what age are you? And how often do you take this egg? Are you the type of person that eats egg every day? And what is your cholesterol level? For some, we are managing their cholesterol. So for that kind of person, we might say, okay, you cut down on the intake of this. Yes.
You are a dietitian, a nutritionist, just like Mrs. Ayoade. Now, there is this talk of, when you talk about dietitian, nutritionists, you don't need to see them until maybe something happens. Is your kind of a profession one that we can walk down to General Hospital and say that, okay, my nutritionist, I want to see you? Do we have to have a problem to see you, or it is something we can always just come around and say, I want you to check me or talk to me?
So you don't have to have a problem for us to see you. Yes, you could see us for management.
For management?
Yes, I want to maintain this particular status of my health. You don't have to wait till, okay, let's say for some people that are underweight, for example, some people do not even see underweight as an issue. So far, it's not obesity.
So underweight is also an issue.
Yes, but that's not our topic for
exactly
today,
true,
right?
Yes.
So you don't have to have a problem, one, to see us. And even if you're not noticing, okay, I can't eat well, my eating pattern is not okay, this and that, you can walk up. You can walk up to General Hospital and see us. We have patients like that also. Doctors, and they don't have issues with the doctors, it's just their diet and how to manage them. So you can walk up to us.
After this show, definitely I will be going down to General Hospital in Ikorodu.
We'll be expecting you.
I will definitely come. Although I look very smart and I like my stature that way.
When you
Are
get
you sure?
when you get our
Being
office,
healthy
you
is
know.
not an absence of sickness or illness.
Okay.
It is mental, emotional, physical well-being. So you can't say. It's just like some people would go for general checkup on a yearly basis, even when nothing is wrong with them.
Even when nothing.
Just to be sure, in case something wants to show up, we tackle it on time.
0904081161 or 0904082161 is the studio line where you can call us today and ask our dietitian and nutritionist in the studio questions, if at all there are questions. Now, I'll come down to you, Mrs. Ayoade. Let us look at the role soft drinks now play when we talk about diet, when we talk about obesity. Some persons are so used to these things. I have a friend, I said it sometimes ago on the show, she would always want to take soft drink, at least 3. This is somebody I know up until today, and she still does that. She must just take it. I don't want to promote the brand. For people like this that live and enjoy soft drinks, what are the dangers in line with that?
They are empty calories. So empty calories means they don't have any nutritional value to your body. They only had calorie. So which is going to be in excess. Like she mentioned, obesity is having your inputs, your calorie inputs more than your calorie output, your expenditure. So imagine you've had everything and you're still taking that. So you are adding up. And one thing about this food is when it is being broken down, it is stored. Eventually it turns to fats. Do you understand? You don't know at what point in your body it converts to fats. So you don't be like, no, now it's not fat. It's not meat. I don't eat that one. Eventually it turns to that. So I think it's a go-to for people these days. Some will even tell you, I take it and I don't eat and I feel fine. That's why I mentioned that it is an empty calorie. Our body needs nutrients to function optimally on a daily basis. I often say this, that if there is a camera within us that makes us see how our body functions, probably some of us will take conscious efforts as to what we take in and manage our health as it should. Because pardon me, I will say this Yoruba adage that says Opoloto, I mean something that is working slowly, death still comes to it. How much more the one that is now gallivanting and saying I may be this. So people that are taking conscious efforts of their health, they are getting there. So I think for such people, I always advise that they substitute with healthier drinks.
Healthier drinks.
If I mention a particular one, people will go and be buying it.
Now,
unfortunately,
brand.
no, not even a brand. It's
okay.
something we go is hibiscus tea, or should I say hibiscus leaf? But when I say this, some people sell. They'll say they should be drinking it. However, they have added additives or sweeteners, that are also empty calories. So you might actually be, boycotting what I've said. Let's not do, and going for that one. For people generally, to stop might be an issue. So if it cannot stop or substitute with healthier drinks, we have varieties of them. Smoothies. I'm not mentioning juice.
Okay.
Even because we are in this trend of people saying, I have food processor. When I juice it, I take the juice. They say the shaft and cup, I throw it away. You understand? What does fiber do? Fiber helps our body. It aids digestion. It fills us up, and it's very good for the body. So now imagine you're taking something that is good and taking the juice. And some of them might even be having some health conditions already. They might become hyperglycemic through that. Eventually, they will tend to maybe pre-diabetes. Then they will become the owner of diabetes in the long run. So, taking conscious efforts, if you feel like taking something sweet, we have 0-calorie sweeteners that some of them can use. Add to your drink or to your tea, but let it be. You can go for your smoothies too. Majorly let it be more of green smoothies. Do you get? Especially if you have, I'm saying this as a general knowledge, but if you have a particular condition you're managing, please, it's not a one size fits all. As I said, this is a general knowledge. When you're managing a particular condition, you need to, know what is fit for that your condition and do it.
Let's take this call. Hello to you, Mr. Larry. Thank you for calling us this morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name, like you said, is Larry from somewhere in Ikorodu. I want to appreciate these are two beautiful, should I call them sisters or mommy now? I don't have...
Mommy and sister.
Yes, this love is beautiful ladies. They've shown like, they've lectured me on them how to live a healthy life. Sometimes when we grow up, we believe that putting a big bowl of food, not like they call it a mountain mold of food, that will create that will live another life. And they've been able to convince me that even if you take a small quantity and you have more of vegetables, more of proteins, and more of other things that the body can actually use, that can circulate and make the body healthy.
Mm.
But, you know, I'm at the office. I've jotted like 1/3 of everything with the we that they've been saying here. I just want to give them the kudos that they've been able to confuse and not confuse me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And it's
You're
good to hear from
welcome.
you again, Mr. Larry. Thank you so very much. 0904-081-1061 or 0904-082-1061 is the studio line. Now, let us go down to genetic factor, just like you mentioned earlier. And then afterwards, I'll come down to you, Miss Akonde, how best you can talk to parents out there. Because looking at the way you've said these things, obviously parents have a very major role to play.
Yes.
And like they say, train a child the way he or she should go, so that when he or she grows, he or she will not depart from that path. So you have more to say to parents out there on how to best train these children with diet. But before then, Mrs. Ayoade, let us talk about the genetic factor. When a father is obese, the mother is obese, the stature is so big, what are the tendencies that the child will also fall in that line? Or are there cases where both parents are looking so chubby and the child is doing well for himself or herself? How possible is that?
Okay, let me start from your last question. It's very possible,
It's very possible.
but it does not rule out that there is going to be a possibility of obesity later in life.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Mm.
So it's not ruling it out. Maybe at that stage, perhaps, let me say the child is very active in school, is in this exercise, this activity, and maybe the child is not one that loves to eat junks.
Okay.
We have children like that. You hear, I still have one of my colleagues who was telling me her baby does not want to be eating all this cereal she's giving her. She likes semo, she likes all of this. You understand? So that's, ensuring that that comes into play might help that child. So like I said, that there is a possibility. So for that child, if that child go on with that lifestyle and choice of food, it's possible that that child does not eventually end up with obesity. But when there is a twitch, eventually, maybe as the child is growing, doing more of those things he does not used to do, it's possible. So for the child that the parents are obese and is obese too, of course, there is a way they can manage.
Okay.
In our clinic most times when I see babies and I know there's an ideal weight for each child to weigh. That's how you know if a child is, for adults, I said BMI. For BMI for adults, for children too, that focuses on the weight and the age of that child. So when you see a child, and it is gender, there is gender factor to it too. So when I see a child of about, let me say 6 months, and the child is weighing like 11 kg, either sex, I know something is wrong. So most times I ask, even if I see 11 kg is even far, let me see like 10, I'll ask the mother. I'm not saying there is not a possibility. I'll ask the mother, hello, what did you give this child? Was it breast milk and what? Some of them will tell you it's breast milk only. I want to know where the problem comes from. Okay, is there anybody big in the family? Your father, your own side or your husband's side? And I get to hear, okay, in their daddy's side they are big. In my side we are big. And even sometimes you are seeing the mother as big, or sometimes they may not be big. So you get that information. And I often advise, like, madam, this your baby is a big baby. So I will advise that in whatever you do, please ensure no junks, no unhealthy eating habits. And as the child grows, please, because for childhood obesity, it is a family thing. It's not just the child. So the family plays a part, the school plays a role.
Okay.
Exactly. The family plays a role, the school plays a role, and the environment, to make that environment a friendly one for that child. Instead of being on the phone for too long, tell the child to go and play, not exercise.
Okay.
Do you understand? So that's why if everybody is eating this at home, and if everybody wants to eat something and it's not what the child should eat, nobody is eating it. We all eat the same thing. So this way, consciously you're helping that child, and in the way you're helping yourself too. So, and in school, I said schools too can help. How can schools help? When they come and maybe during break time, or they have activities they run on a weekly basis. Okay, we are going to do swimming pool. We are going to the swimming pool today. We are going to be doing frog jump or high jump or whatever activity they want to incorporate into their curriculum. And also, I know schools are doing this one particularly. Now I want to mention, they say today is Kinikwan Day. Bring fruit day. It's not junks. So when schools tell parents, they don't have a choice. They are forced to follow that pattern. So that's why I said it's a more of a collaborative effort from the environment, from the school, from the parents, and the society at large, helping, and also telling your other children, like, if you see somebody that is big, don't bully them.
Don't bully them.
So if at all of this is being provided and somebody is bullying my child in school, whatever I might be saying might not enter, because the child spends almost all their hours in school. So that also, encourages and helps that child, and they are able to manage it and let them know why they are doing this.
Thank you very much. I still have one more question for you before we call it a wrap today on the show. But I want to come down to Miss Konde. Let's have you also talk to these parents too as well, from your own perspective, on how best they can help train these children what to eat, what not to eat, when to eat and when not to eat, talking about a sustainable eating habit. What's your take? What is your advice to every parent out there?
Okay, thank you for that question. First, I will start by asking of you if we've seen a trend on TikTok or Facebook where the mom calls someone, maybe the son, and she gives an instruction. Put this hand on your chin. And she's putting it on the wrong place. But because the child is looking at what the mother does, he's following the mother's instructions. So that brings me to say that whatever you want to tell your child to do, let it be that you also are doing that. Yes, because your children, yes, they learn more from you, from what you do, not just what you say. Okay, you're a mother and you tell your child, fruits are good for you, vegetables are good for you. Junks is not good, but you are the one that you even send them these drinks to go buy. They won't listen. And just like my Oga said, whatever food that child is eating, let it be that's what everyone in that family is eating. Yes. So one way to majorly help your child is that they are learning from you. You are eating healthy. And now we are not just talking about obesity. Fine, the child might not be obese due to eating unhealthy, but at the long run, this is a lifestyle that is being taught, and over time this child is used to taking junks. And what happens these days, obesity, which is one of the secondary factors that predisposes, and that obesity predisposes one to diabetes. Now over time, hope you know now, not just older people develop diabetes. Hope you know.
True.
Yes, there are people in their 20s. Hyperglycemic, really hyper. So what if this child is not obese, but the metabolic issues, the way the body is working, is not functioning well? And how did they get it? They got it from the mother. The way the habit she has inculcated.
So there's an aftermath from all the things the child has seen.
So whatever you are preaching to your child, let it be. That's what you are doing. That's the best way you can help this child. And when the child is listening, crying, no, I can't eat this, I can't eat, then there's no other thing for you to eat. Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much for that clarification. While you're training them from learning other things, you should also be aware that their diet is also very germane and important. One of the bridges I want us to cross now, which is more like our last major question for today before we wrap it up on the show, will be, how can obesity be managed? The essence of this conversation is to create awareness. Now, people listening at this time are currently in that situation, are feeling like, oh, they are talking about us. This is our situation. So what do we do now? So they have said we should not be like this, but we that we are currently in it, all what we've been talking about is about how to avoid this. How about those that are currently living with obesity? Let me start with you first, Mrs. Ayoade.
All right, for those that are actually battling with obesity, because it's a battle. Those that are battling with is a battle. Either you win or obesity wins. So for those that are battling with obesity now, you can't manage it yourself.
You can't manage it yourself.
You need an expert, or should I say you need a professional. When I mean an expert, I don't mean you going to your gym and you say they have placed me on a particular diet.
That's where most people run to.
It has to be a sustainable diet. There's something we call fat diet, that means there is a particular trend and people go for it. So, okay, fat diet, for example, is a trend. People feel that this particular restricted food or going for this particular food helps us to achieve weight loss faster. Do you understand? And they might see the results, but they don't see the result that might come in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from the, from what they have done. So, and number 2 is, this is not something sustainable.
It is not sustainable.
It's not a sustainable diet. So if you want to manage obesity, ensure you see the dietitian or a nutritionist. So they will advise better, because it is individualized. Like I mentioned, it's not a one size fits all. What we are saying here is just in the general knowledge, because we are going to assess that patient, or should I say that individual, check what they eat, check if there is an history, past history of that in the family, check if there is any underlying condition, check what their lifestyle is, what are the things you love to do, their diet history. These are things that are considered. So when you now look at these things, you have done your evaluation, and sometimes you might even need to do some, some biomarker, some tests, run some tests, and check and see, okay, this is what this is. Then you now approach and place that patient based on what you have your assessment. So you need, and there are specific exercises that we cannot tell you, okay, do this number of for this number of minutes. If you can do more, fine. So it goes beyond just on hair. Do you get? But for people that generally I want to keep fit, like she has mentioned, my colleague mentioned, eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, take your grains, take your carbohydrates, your starchy, your non-starchy, take everything, and take your proteins. You have varieties, the plant and the animal. Take as much as you want. But please, as much as we say, take as much as you want. If there is, I'm hammering, if there is an underlying condition that you're managing, please don't just take anything. Make sure you have the right information. I'm not talking about Google information. I'm not talking about Fit Farm information online or keto diet online. I'm not talking about one. I'm not even talking about intermittent fasting. Do you get? Make sure you see the right person. They advise you better. Then, because it is treatable. Unlike the diabetes, the hypertension is not treatable.
That's only manageable.
You can only manage. But for obesity, if it has not gone outside of, being obese, it is treatable. And it takes the patient, the individual's conscious efforts to want to achieve it.
Thank you very much for that one. I don't know if Ms. Akonde also have a thing or two to say to people currently living with or battling, just like I want to use your words now, battling with obesity before we wrap it up. Not your parting words, but your advice to people battling with obesity at this time.
Okay. I'll just buttress on what she had said earlier. And she said you shouldn't try to manage it alone. So I would also add that you need a support system.
A support system?
Yes. Like she said, it's a battle. Who goes to a battle alone?
You have to put on the whole armor.
Yes.
Of God.
So you need a support system. So let's say it's the mother in the family that is obese. She has to inform her older children, the husband, okay, this is what diet I've been placed on. Whenever she's going contrary to the will of the dietitian, then they would remind her and put her back on track. That's one. And secondly, it also helps if this support system can also help to, when we recommend this kind of diet, they can
live the life.
Yes, they can do it collectively, just to encourage the mom or the dad or even the child now that is obese. So you need support system. And let's say now you are living alone or you're a single Pringle, you are lonely. Your support system could be your healthcare practitioner. Yes, just know that you can't treat it alone. Yes, come to us. We are always there for you.
Let us talk about that coming to us now. Right. General Hospital Ikorodu, you have said it is not until you're sick before you can see someone who is a dietitian or a nutritionist. When are the doors open? I know of that of diabetes, I know of the mental health department and other department. But for your department, when are the door open for? Do we call them customers or clients?
Let's just clients, so they will not feel like they are sick.
Yeah. So what are the best times to welcome them?
We open from Mondays to Fridays.
Okay.
But we have our clinic days on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So we operate from 8 to 4. 8 to 4.
All right, thank you. I would also come around. I need to check my height. I think I'm 1 inch better than last year.
You cannot increase in height as an adult. It's only a child that increases. That can only happen.
I didn't say I'm an adult.
Oh, sorry. a would-be adult.
Yeah,
For a
that's
would-be
right.
adult, it's only a child that, increases in height. For an adult, when you get to a particular stage,
So
they'll
it's
say,
too late for me.
Abakula Shiwure,
It's too late for
you're
me.
gonna die like that.
Anyways, we have to wrap up the show. I must say I enjoyed every moment spent with you both in the studio today. But when you look at the season at this time, it started with the Ramadan, and then Christians felt like, oh, good, we are not in. But now the Lent has begun yesterday too as well. You are dentitians, you are nutritionists. What are your advice to people out there for us that are fasting at this time? When we want to break, how best can we break? What do we use in breaking? How can we live a healthy life during this fast season?
Okay, to start with, make sure that your health can accommodate this fast.
That
So
is
that
the first thing.
The Yorubas will say, Awaroko will not catch you eventually. They will not think that somebody has seizure. Meanwhile, or epilepsy. Meanwhile, it's food that has caused you that. So make sure your health can carry it. Then, what to do, we advise that you don't go into food immediately. Take your water. Some might prefer warm water. Not too much. You might not necessarily go for cold water. Something warm. It might even be tea. You understand? All these, maybe my colleague mentioned maybe some herbal tea. I don't mean a bowl.
Oh,
I mean like your moringa, that's what I mean, your cinnamon. So taking all of that, some of them are high in, they are very good for inflammation. So if at all the also or the throat are swollen, then it can help, keep it cool. Then you can now go for your fruits. If you have some underlying condition like ulcer, we advise that you don't go for the acidic ones. The oranges I'm seeing now looks like if you drink it, if you are pregnant 9 months, the thing will just
You
miscarry.
always frown when you drink this orange.
Do you understand? Eventually, I summoned courage to buy, and I saw that it only lacks water. It's not acidic like I expected. I use myself as sample, so don't go for those kind of fruits that are acidic. The pineapple, the orange, and the likes of them. You can go for other fruits. Pawpaw, watermelon. I think golden melon, banana. But please, if you have any health condition, don't eat it like there is no tomorrow. I'm focusing this majorly for diabetic patients. Please don't eat it like there is no tomorrow. Then you can now go for your food. But don't eat too much, because by the time you eat and drink too much, you'll be full. And you remember you want to fast the next day. Then you want to fill up. Then you become heavy. And after eating, rest for a while. Try to walk around or dance. Burn out some of this energy. It's not by you sweating that you have burnt out the energy. The body will utilize its own, but make sure you just carry for the body small. Maybe about 10-15 minutes. Then you can now go back.
Thank you so very much. Your parting words, Miss Akonde, today on the show. Talk to us. What are your parting words?
I'll just say I appreciate you for having me here.
Thank you.
I also hope that listeners, wherever we all may be, at home, at work, I hope we've gotten one or two things, like the person who called earlier said. And the good book said, it's not just by you hearing, but by doing. And I also hope we do.
Don't just hear it, do them.
Yes, and we change. For those of us that need to change any lifestyle, we change. We do the appropriate thing needed.
This is how far we can have it today on the issues. Tomorrow will be another very beautiful time. And don't forget that today we focus majorly on the World Health Organization Day, which is said to be the World Obesity Day. And special thanks to General Hospital Ikorodu for helping us have this solid conversation with a dietitian, Ayoade Olushola, as well as a nutritionist, Akonde Abidemi. Thank you so very much for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for
Until
having
next
us.
week, Thursday, same time, same station, I am Okpayemi Adebambo. Remember, health is wealth. Stay healthy. God bless Nigeria. God bless Lagos.
God bless.